Hello everyone, Staraltros here, finally coming back with another video for FFBE JP news update. We have a new maintenance right now ongoing. I know I haven't made a video for the past 2 units that we've received and also the crowns for a couple of units. I decided I was still going to go through the newer update first, and then I'm gonna make another video maybe like tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, just to cover back on those units, even though, like, you know, they're old news by now. I just want to at least make a video for them. And yeah, sorry I haven't been as present lately. Have been having some issues, health issues, unfortunately. But now I'm doing better, so here I am covering the newer units. So first up we have Rising Star of Hope Roca, and she's probably going to be representing season 3, a little bit like we had, what was it, Memories of Departure Rain, and then Lasswell and Raegen for season 2. So now she's the one for season 3. I'm a bit surprised we're not seeing Fina first. Maybe Fina's going to be on a second banner, so we're going to see a little later. But for now, we have Roca up here opening the season 3 banner with all the love we know we can give to that season. So to begin, let's start by looking at her categories. So she is Earth, Fire, Ice, Wind, and Light. So Earth is very expected. Ice, I think she did have some ice in her first appearance. She had like the Zara, and that's about it. But still ice. And I'm surprised she doesn't have dark, because, you know, she had like the Void Lord Roca with Atomos. So I would have expected that at least to be coming with her as well, but no, they decided to give her light because light is very on vogue right now. Same with wind, and apparently ice as well with the current updates that we've been getting for the latest units. So in terms of other categories, she also has, well, you know, the usual things that she has for being this season 3 representative. But mostly she's also Blessings of the Crystals, Gathering, Flowers of the Battlefield, or Maidens, however we call them, and Transcendent. So unfortunately, not a very big coverage in terms of categories. Gathering is the big thing right now. If you want to go light with Bards, for example, that's going to be very good. Crystals is still pretty decent. Transcendent is getting a little old, so maybe it's going to be refurbished with new units coming up. Flowers of the Battlefield, you know, because she's a girl, but is it ever going to be like a big meta category? Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, that's what she has. Unfortunately, she doesn't have, you know, like any soldiers, any rebels, or any, well, royals isn't really that big a thing. But anyway, you know, like she only has those 4 categories. We could have hoped she had more. Next, her TMR is just a regular materia. It doesn't do much. It's a 50% demon, human, and reaper killer, so like very common races that you're rarely going to want to have more of, except reaper, which is a little more rare. And also a 50% earth and dark resist, so kind of a wasted slot in terms of materia, in my opinion. But her STMR is where it's really at. So it is an accessory with 121 magic, the same as what was it? Not Ultimate Power Rain, was it? Maybe it was. Anyway, that rain with the 121 accessory, you know the one I'm talking about. But hers is much better because it also gives 75% stone and reaper killer. Also gives you 10% decreased mana cost, and also 100% stop resist. So very, very good for just about anyone. Always going to be like 1 copy on her, obviously, for this, the static magic. But what you're going to want to do is get multiple copies of it if you can, because those are very good stats for the killers and the MP reduction as well. All very, very good things. Her vision card, if I'm not mistaken, this is her good old vision card from the base Roca. So they increased the stats, 140 to everything, which is, you know, nothing to write home about, but decent because it's all stats, I guess. But the interesting part is sometimes we have been kind of grasping at straws, trying to get more MP regen. Her card will give MP regen, so there's that at least, and a little bit of static to all stats as well. There's no restriction to any category, so anyone can equip that if ever you want to use this. Her EX3 ability is a 50% human overkiller. Always good to have more of those because human is a very popular race. So get, if you don't already have one, maybe she's gonna be your first, who knows? I know I started finally getting some on my units. And it feels good to have them for the race you need to gear for when you're going for a trial, when you're going for a Dark Visions boss. I finally feel like I'm reaching whale territory with free-to-play units. Anyway, if we go down to look at her kit, so at EX1 she gets the 500% LB damage buff, and then everything else is at EX2. So at EX2 she is getting the 300% wind and earth imperil. So 2 elements are imperiled by 300% from her, earth and wind. And then she has 2 different amplifies. So first she has fire and wind, 300% amplify only for herself. And then she has ice and earth, 300% amplify for herself and a friend. What you're noticing here is she doesn't have a 300% amplify for light, which is her other element, which is kind of meta right now. So it is a bit unfortunate that she doesn't have it, but they always like to throw a wrench in our plans and not make a unit like perfect when they design one. So this is the flaw that she has in there. The rest of her kit is the usual, especially for Roca. So she does have the thing, a little gimmick here to reduce the cooldown timer for an ability. She has it 5 times. She has slow to reduce the accuracy of all enemies, but it's only for 1 turn, so who cares? She can inflict stop, but everybody in the world is immune to it, so who cares? She has a triple and quad cast, obviously because she's a mage. And she cannot use her big chaining ability for the triple or quad casts. One thing to note is even though she is a mage, she can still imbue herself with her elements because she does have a physical ability here. So this can get imbued with her elements. Not a big deal, but she has that. Where it gets interesting here is when we look at her cooldowns. So her first cooldown is a ice, wind, and earth imperil by 200%. So you read that right. 3 different elements are imperiled by 200% from her with the field, which is extremely good. I mean, she has like the amplify for all of these, which is great. So whichever of these elements, like we're just dropping fire there, but I guess we don't want to go back to a fire meta so quick, which I appreciate. It's fun to have a little bit of variety. So very nice. And then her other cooldown is a 100% amplify for fire, ice, wind, earth, and light. So all 5 of her elements are included in here. Sorry. It is only a 100% amplify. Sadly, it's not 200%, but still it is very good for all the elemental coverage she gets. And if you want to have maybe something more focused on something else, you're going to have the unit that can do the 200% for that anyway. I'm looking at you, Bartz. Now, she also has a 91% defense in Spirit Break. This is only usable once per battle. It's a Magnus ability. But it's still very good as well to have on top of all the other utilities she has. She also has on a cooldown that's an 8-turn cooldown, so you won't be using this a lot, probably just once per fight. A 300% Demon and Reaper killer, and it is AoE, so this is really, really, really good. So yeah, 300% killer for Demon and Reaper. She has a 60% Rod Imperil. Then this is her big chaining ability, which is imbuable, so you need to imbue before. It's an AMOE chain, which is a bit weird for a mage. And the modifier isn't that high. It's 10,600 times, so not that high, but it's kind of on par with everything else lately in terms of like the flat chaining abilities. She doesn't have any other modifier to it. She has an on-demand 90% defense and spirit break. which will also imperil all her elements by 180%, and also imperil Rod for 50%. So this is like the secondary thing you want to use once all your big Magnuses have been used. She also has a perfect dispel for the enemies and for your team, which will recast on the next turn. So if an enemy is buffing twice, then you don't care. She's going to remove it because it auto casts on the next turn so long as she's not stopped, petrified, confused, or dead. I don't think oh, paralyzed. Yeah, paralyzed also would do that. But yeah, so this is very handy, very good. And also here she has an LB fill, which is for everyone. So 30 LB fill. Usually this is half of the LB gauge. And it's also got a auto cast next turn another 30, and then another turn after fill by 60. So basically, if everyone's LB gauge is at 0, she starts it there while everyone does their setup. Then it fills it for everyone so they can use their LB. And then the next turn after, they can just use their LB right away again. So very good for, like a long, well, not a longer fight, but when you want to burst more than once in a row, like say, I don't know, Grace of Water when you're doing Kukuri, like you want to burst him once and then burst him twice. I don't know why I'm using this example. Like, I know it's very old, but I've been doing the True Grace of Water recently, and so I've been feeling the pain of this again. Although if anyone asks, I finally got them all done. So all Grace of Lightning, all Grace of Water are done. I finally have those overkillers. Don't ask about Grace of Fire, at least I got a clear in, but I will not do all categories just yet. That would be insane of me. I don't think I have the units nor the patience. And then other cooldowns she has is here's something that will give her focus for 4 turns, and also it's on a 5-turn cooldown, so basically she will always be focused so long as you keep casting this. And last but not least, she has a cooldown ability here, which will unlock for, oh, sorry, just forgot to mention a little something here. Her LB fill sadly doesn't affect her, so it is for everyone except her, and also decreases the cooldown for abilities, which is cute, but probably not the reason why you're going to be casting this specifically. It's a bit sad that unfortunately she's not included in her own LB fill there. Anyway, returning here, she can enable someone with a triple cast and 3 different abilities. She also recovers 850 MP because that's what all 3 of those abilities together will cost. We're gonna look at those abilities in a second. But honestly, I think I would be mostly using this for the MP recovery. But maybe it's just me. We'll see when we look at the abilities in a second. In terms of passives, she has, the usual now for the EX LB mod. In terms of the rest, she has a boost skill. Her boost skill, as you can expect, is cooldown reduction for herself. So for the first 4 turns, her cooldowns are all at 0. A little bit like, was it Dark Fiend? Yeah, Dark Fiend recently that did that. And that's about it for her passives. Now, the things that she unlock for somebody else, she cannot cast those on herself. It's always on somebody else. And it wasn't for 2 turns. Okay. So the turn she casts it and the turn after it can be used and then it goes away. So it is an AoE 88% attack and magic break for one of the abilities. The other ability is a 40% all element resistance. But at this point, why don't you use Calamity Border? It's better. Also 400% defense and spirit buff, and defense and spirit break resistance to everyone. And the last skill is a 30,000 HP barrier plus 50% all mitigations to everyone as well. So unfortunately, those numbers aren't very high. So long as you have someone casting Shelga or Protect God, they're going to be reaching these numbers. So long as they have it increased to +2. If you have +3, it's even better. The only good part of this, in my opinion, is the 30,000 barrier, which can help sometimes. But other than that, like nothing crazy in these abilities. It's just cute, but the MP recover is pretty nice. She does have Enstonga for the Earth support, so she can cast that to imbue her own with Earth, which goes very well with her, being the Earth Girl. Her leader skill is 1700% to all Earth or Gathering units. So Gathering with her will work very well, or Earth as well, if you want to use an Earth team, but I don't think Earth is quite there yet. They still have to, I think they still have to work on it. Next, she has 2 overdrives, obviously, because everyone now has 2 overdrives. Unfortunately, they're not very inspired with hers. So she has 1 overdrive for gathering units, which is 300% stat buff, 30% category amplify, and a overdrive field for 100%. All this for gathering units. And then for the Blessing of the Crystals, it is only the overdrive field for 100% for the crystals. So I guess if you have both of these types of units, make sure like you use them in the correct order, not to overwrite the field with the wrong one. Kind of a weird overdrive setup in my opinion, but I haven't been impressed with a lot of these dual overdrive units, especially when they kind of counter each other with these fields. That's why I'm not a fan of. Anywho, if we keep looking at now her LB, as you can see, she has a multi-elemental LB. She can choose the element she wants. And when she casts her LB, she is going to imperil the element by 180. She's going to imperil Rod by 60%, and she's going to break Defense and Spirit by 88%. And then the full modifier with the buffs is 1975 times. So very good for a mage. She's a new highest. Or was Darkfina? Was Darkfina higher? Or around that? I don't remember. Anyway, very high, so very good. And it also decreases the cooldown by 1 for everyone when she casts it on top of that. So what you can see here is the Rod Imperil 60% being on her LB makes her Magnus ability kind of irrelevant unless she is, like casting it before for other allies to go first before her in a chain or another turn before to deal like the full damage for them as well. So very good unit. I will say she has a lot of utility. She might not be the best, but I am personally interested in pulling for her because I don't have Barts, and I keep leeching off people. I keep leeching off of people's Barts to try and make stuff happen. So maybe I can get my own 200% Imperil Fields and 300% Imperil Magnus unit. That would be great. So let's see if I can get her. Next, we have Lady Shantoto, so the NV version of Shantoto, who is getting an NV Plus Awakening. So not too many things that change for her, actually. The only thing that will change, as most NV Plus Awakenings, is the LB buff. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember if she had those crowns before, so is she getting crowns now at the same time? I think so. Maybe not. Anyway, her new LB modifier from the cooldown is 640 times. She doesn't have any passives for the LB modifier, but she does get some more modifier for her spells. I'll talk about that after. Or did she have that before? Yeah, is that new crowns? Once again, let me know if that's new crowns or not, but she gets a flat 5500 magic on top of it if she hadn't already gotten that. Anyway, let's go look at her LB, which is the interesting part here. So the NV plus LB is 1770 times. So pretty good for a NV plus mage. Because most NV plus, well, not NV plus Awakening, but most like old units that they're trying to bring back to relevance are like 1800 times. So her being a mage at 1770 means she will be slightly higher than those, but probably her stats are so low that kind of balances itself. I don't really know. But she's going to be decent in a dark team because she's only using dark here. If you want to use her spells, like you see, she gets a 1000 times modifier here. And then she also gets another 1000 here, plus that 200. So altogether it's 2200. So 2200 and this here would be, well, 2500. So 2500 times 4 would be 10,000 times. So our full chain would be 10,000 times, which is kind of on par for like the flat chaining abilities. Obviously, the LB is where the fun's at. But if you want to be using other elements with her, she can still dish out some decent-ish damage with it if somebody else can chain with her. So that is Shantoto here. If we go and have a look at the crowns now, those I know are getting crowns. So we have Chosen Future King Noctis, which is NV plus Noctis. So he's getting, you know, the classic crowns, like there's nothing else that changes in his kit. So all he's getting is a little bit of flat attack and something here for some more LB modifier. So the LB modifier for him is 700, bringing him to, you've guessed, well, yeah, I guess it's not that flat, cut and dry, but it brings him to 1800 times because of the 700 plus the 100 from the first 5 turns and the 120 from the cooldown for the modifier buff. So that brings him all the way to 1800 times. Now, the next one is Youth Longing for the Skies Vaughn. So this is once again NV plus Vaughn. And same as Noctis here, like nothing changing in his kit. The only thing he's getting for his crowns is this here. So 3500 flat attack, and then a little something here for the LB modifier buff, which is of 1170 times because his LB modifier was garbage. 410. Holy, my goodness, is he that old? Is he that old? I don't remember. Anyway, so he goes straight from 410 to 1800 times. So once again, very same thing as the others. So that's all for the changes in units for this week. Now in terms of events, we are getting a raid event where we're going to go and bully a train because they'd rather make us bully the train more than give us the train as an Esper. I would love to have Doom Train as an Esper. We need to have more Espers come on. Those stones aren't going to be using themselves on, you know, 3-star Garuda when she drops, because we're still overflowing anyway. But yeah, so we have a raid event here. Pretty simple, you know, you go and you use your orbs, and then you get some subpar rewards, let's say. Better for newer players, I will say. Unfortunately, not that much lapis to be farmed here. Then we have the Blue Pearl stage against Mazurka for Roca. And then we have a rerun of a story event. Apparently this is Sakura story event. So go and get your lapis in there. And last but certainly not least this time, we are getting a Visions World. This Vision World apparently is a little different than the others we've had before. So this one is called Vision World EX. Because apparently we're only gonna have 2 fights. So one against Dark Rain, the other one against Deoxys, was it? Yeah, Deoxys. That was his GL name. And apparently for this one, just like GL, we can get everyone can get rank 1. I do not know the requirements yet. I don't know how high the damage will need to be. I don't know if it's going to be easy to reach or hard to reach. We're going to see that in a couple hours. But hopefully it's easy enough to reach because everyone could go and grab that 10,000 lapis. That would be very nice. Also, if you look right here, you can see 2 different... Oh, maybe if I can zoom a little bit more. So if you look at the bottom right corner, you can see there's 2 cards here. 2 vision cards. This one here on the left is Dark Rain's special card from Global, and this one is actually Deoxys special global card as well. I pulled them up here for a better visual. So this is me trying to zoom. Oh, derp. Oh, whatever. So this is Dark Rain's, and this is Deoxys's. Deoxys's, that sounds so weird. Anyway, the stats will definitely be different, so don't expect those to be the same. Well, anyway, So yeah, don't expect them to be the same. But hopefully they're gonna be good. Because in global those cards were paid for, so they were pretty. They were not all of them were great, but most of them were pretty good. So fingers crossed that they will be decent when they come around. And so that was it. That was it for this week, actually. So expect the other video for the older units coming a little later this week. And then I will be back in on regular schedule until end of service, or until my interest dies. Who knows what happens first? Um, I will say as well, maybe most people know, but I'm still going to say it. There has been a collaboration event going on with another game from Square Enix called Ember Storia. So if you like make it to certain milestones in Ember Storia, you were going to get a code that you can redeem in FFBE in a couple of weeks, or was it in July? Sometime anyway, sometime in the future, you can go and grab a code to get 10,000 lapis. I've done it. I've done all the milestones. The game is not easy. It's also not a great game in my opinion. It's one of those like town building game mixed with some like strategy RPG fights ish. I don't know really how to describe it. Anyway, not my cup of tea. If you like it, great. I did it for the lapis. It took me, I think, 5 days of 5 days of actively playing the game to make it to all those objectives. So if you have the patience and you want to get 10,000 lapis, by all means, go and get it. If you don't, I totally understand, and I will not judge you because I never judge. Also, I guess I'm a little bit late for this, but happy Pride Month to everyone. It is Pride Month after all, so might as well celebrate with some FFBE, right? Anywho, so that's it for me this week. Thank you again for joining. Good luck on your pulls if you're pulling for Little Girl Roca, and see you all later this week for the next video. Bye!